Welcome to the Harvesting Wisdom podcast. Together we explore the vast landscapes of life, delving into the rich soil of experiences, sowing the seeds of curiosity, and harvesting the profound wisdom that each episode unfolds. Hi, this is Mike McMahon, and this is Harvesting Wisdom. I have today a continuation of our series of the work we're doing in Malawi, and Peter and Kim Rolero. Kim is going to be our featured person in the field today, and we've already had Kim on the podcast, and she's worked, in various locations around the U.S. and internationally. She's including Iceland, Costa Rica, Mexico, and the Philippines, and she comes from the Midwest, originally Michigan and Ohio. She's a nationally ranked storyteller. I get a lot of her stories. She's the program director for UFE, and she's helped with the formation of our Plot of Sunshine, our professional development series here in the U.S. Before I bring Kim on, I'll just explain to everyone again, we have kind of these long-term infrastructure projects that we kind of develop and work with over there in Lukuni. Then we also have these micro-projects. That was kind of Kim's idea, of letting people in the community come to us with projects that were kind of near and dear to their hearts or things that they felt that they could do. So, and I think that might end up being more the future of what we're doing out there after we have all of our infrastructure in place, and we're getting close to having that done. So, Kim, I'll let you take it away, and we have a very long list of projects. You can hold up that sheet and show you've been there for about a month or so now. You're starting to wind down, so go ahead and tell us what's going on, and what do you have in the background there? I see Peter.
Mike, Mike, it's great to see you. And yes, Peter and I have been here since November 13th. So we are wrapping up our 6 weeks here in Lukuni and our side trip and new partner, St. Paul's in Zambia. So we have been able to work on, complete, and near complete 20 small micro projects, some of them small and others, as you see behind us, not so small. We're thrilled with the participation of very talented, very passionate people here in Malawi. I will be introducing Ernest again. You met him before. And then also we will be speaking with the two patron teachers here at Lukuni Girls Secondary School, Patrick and Afrida, who are just amazing blessings to the school and to our urban farming project. But I'd like to go ahead and let Ernest tell you all about this wonderful contraption behind us. Ernest.
Hello, Ernest.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Thank you. Good as well.
Good. Looks like you've been busy.
Yeah, sure. Been busy.
Yeah. So you have our food dryer, our solar dryer set up. Quite an operation. Why don't you walk me through it? Tell us about that.
Okay, thank you, Mike. This is a solar dryer. It's gonna be used for basically post-harvest processing. If you have a lot of vegetables, fruits, instead of you throwing them away, you dry them up in this machine. The machine doesn't use any power. It's a green equipment. Uses all about sunlight, sun heat, and then dries up whatever you put in the dryer to dry up.
Okay. How long does it take to dry a vegetable or a fruit?
Okay, thank you. Leaf vegetables, the leaves can take like the way it is hot now, 1 day.
Wow.
They'll be fully dried up. Tomatoes, about 1.5 days, they're done. Mangoes, about 2 days, they're done.
Wow. And so, what do you do?
Sure.
What do you do with that? You put them on the floor, or on a plate, or on a sheet of plastic. What do you do? Um, you cut them up first, and then you lay them out. So, how do you do that?
Yeah, we have the platform which is made of some bricks and some cement, like a floor finish of a house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we mount up the dryer using rivets. So we punch in rivets to make it connected, and it's very strong. Can jump onto it, nothing can happen.
Wow.
Sure.
And then, how much
And
food
Mike,
can you fit in there? Oh, there's Peter.
oh, from
Peter.
from the back of it, from the back of it are the trays, and the trays slide in under the chimney, and that's where the actual food dehydrating occurs.
Ah, okay. How much material? What's the square footage of that? How big is that?
Oh, okay. The base is about 2.1 meters by 2.9 meters. That's the base, which is sitting on the floor. The drying space on the neck there, where you see some nets, some lines in the middle. That's where your stuff is, and there are 10 trays in there for drying up the products. And those 10 trays can take up about 20 kgs of bananas and or 20 kgs of mangoes at a go.
Wow. And then when you're done, you just bag up the material. And how long is that the dried food good for? How long? You and I had eaten some when I was there. That was 6 months old. How long does this stuff last?
Yeah, if it's dried properly, some can take about 1 year, some can take about 6 months.
Okay,
And,
excellent.
and for those of you who are not metric, 20 kgs is approximately 44 pounds.
Oh, thank you very much, bro.
44 pounds. Oh, that's a lot. And then it's about 6 by 9 feet. So it's quite a large space. So the spot you have it in, and where you guys, I'm listening to the chickens and in the background there, but you're now at the Lacunis Secondary Girls School. Is that where we put that?
Yes, correct, Mike. It's at Likoni Girls Secondary School, and we've planted it in the middle of the school vegetable garden.
Okay, so you literally just finished. Have you actually put any food in it yet to dry?
We're loading it tomorrow
Okay. Now, you're
because we
also,
need to have
go ahead.
we need to have a session of how the students gonna use it before they leave on Wednesday. So
Okay,
we've
great.
chosen tomorrow to train them on how to use this dryer.
Now, what happens? Does it still work when it's raining? Because you're about to start the rain season. How does it take a little longer, or does it matter? Because you're using solar, so that it's UV. It's not really heat related per se, as much as it is the solar rays, right?
Yeah, during the rainy season, it rains, but at the same time, it's a bit hot somehow. So it's gonna slow down the process a little bit, but still, they'll be able to use it.
Okay, great, great.
Sure.
So the the material that we're putting in there, is that coming from the gardens right there because I know the girls' school has gardens, and last year we planted a few hundred banana and mango trees, but they already had some in place. So is most of the food we're generating coming from right on that school site, or will the other schools also be able to use it, like the Lakuni Boys School, secondary, and the two primary schools? Who's all going to use that?
Yeah, that's what Kim was suggesting today, that since this is placed at Likuni Girls Secondary School, if the other projects can also use it, that would be best. Like the hospital may bring in some moringa leaves. The boys' school can bring up maybe bananas to dry up. Here they'll do their vegetables. The whole purpose is to make all the learners in these schools have a feel and the importance of this machine.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, let's explain some of the other projects that you guys have going on. And I don't know if you want to introduce Frida and Patrick, the teachers. Are they there right behind you?
Yes.
Let's have
Yeah, I
them
think I need
come
to
up and say
introduce
hello.
you. Okay, I need to introduce Patrick and Frida on how they're going to use this machine. Maybe they also have to express up their views. Thank you, Mike.
Okay, thanks, Ernest. We'll talk to you in a minute.
Thank you.
Hello, Frida. Good to see you again. How are you?
Hi,
Hi.
fine,
Now,
and you?
I'm excellent.
Yeah.
Patrick, I don't know if we've ever met, but it's good to meet you.
No, no, thank you. It's for the first time, but it's nice to meet you too.
Okay, great. So, so you now have a solar dryer. That's great. That'll be fun to use, and it'll be pretty useful, I think, to because where you are, you don't always have consistent electricity, and there's also a space constraint with refrigerations. So, this is kind of a great thing to bring for the girls that. To have snacks readily available all year long.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, normally we have plenty of them, like fruits. We have an orchard just behind. We
Right,
have plenty of mangoes. We don't know what to do with them, but with the coming of the solar dryer, we can keep some and eat when they are not in good supply.
Yeah.
right, when they're
And
not
also we
fresh.
had the
Yeah,
yeah, and we had the problem of drying our vegetables when they are plenty plus. We were used to dry on the mats, but this time around, because of this solar dry, it will solve that problem. Because they were not properly dried up, they get spoiled sometimes if the weather is not conducive. Then for this dryer, we are very, very thankful. Yeah.
Gr- Great. Well, I know we have all the different schools there. We have the primary schools, we have the community school, we have the boys' school. So
Yeah.
I guess the process now is really trying to utilize it 100% of the time. And if it's not large enough, then we could put another one in, maybe over at the Lakuni Boys School or at the church or at the hospital. But ideally, we're using it, full time. And I guess between Ernest and the two of you, we'll just have to monitor the use of it so that it's coordinated well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We work in coordination to make sure that all of us are benefiting. We try to put some shifts if we might be congested. So we
Right.
will be putting the shifts so that at least everybody benefits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
sure.
and this is just a start. If we see that there is congestion, we may talk to you so that we should give an extra one.
Great. Now, I think you put that right in the garden. Is that the garden?
Yeah,
Because your whole campus is really in very good shape. You have the orchard, and I know we put a few of more of the trees in last year as well. But
Yeah.
you have some livestock there. If I remember right, you had chickens and you have the
Yeah.
cows,
Mm.
and right there, I think that's one of the garden spots right behind you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And we have also chosen another site for the garden behind the lab, the laboratories. There is a space there which we can also have a place for vegetables. If this will not be enough,
Okay, great. We have
yeah.
a water tank, and I think Peter and Kim have found someone who's welding up the frame for it so he can elevate it. So we could probably put one of those tanks right in there to help you irrigate, in the non-rain area and the non-rain seasons, right? So now have you guys? I know that Peter and Kim started the education part and the professional development part with teachers. Have you guys? Are you excited about bringing some of this stuff into the classroom? Some of these lessons and some of this knowledge into the classrooms to the girls.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
suppose.
are very excited. Actually, initially, like in the previous moments, we could have some theoretical skills, of course, learning about agriculture. But the perspective about students that was that agriculture can be learned theoretically in classrooms, but cannot be put into practice by students or educated people. So they could think about it. We could assign that to poor farmers like in the villages, but looking at the skills that they are learning in class and take them to the field and apply them, they are really appreciating, and we are very thankful that indeed it's really working, that there is a lot of science in it, and it's indeed beneficial.
Great.
Sure.
Now, has Kim started with you guys with the Zoom with the students from Arizona?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you've done that as well. How's that going?
It was very
It was
exciting. In
good.
the first
Yes.
moment, we, as the girls' school, went to boys' school just down there.
Uh huh.
We were together there. We interacted with the students from the other school, and our students were also very excited to share experiences from abroad, what their colleagues like in terms of food items, what do they eat, and what games do they play when they are relaxing, what do they do. So it was very exciting moment. And just 2 days ago, we had another Zoom meeting that was conducted here in the girls' school campus. So the boys came here. So it was also a very exciting moment. The students were very excited to interact with their counterparts abroad.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
it's a very exciting moment.
I would
Yeah.
love to, I'm trying to get one of those solar dryers here in the States. That comes from South Africa, and Ernest is kind of the representative for that company. And I see us using more in Malawi, but I want to bring one back to the States, but it costs so much to ship. It costs more to ship than it costs me to buy it. So
Ah,
we're trying to work through that to bring it over because I think the kids here in the U.S. will be a little jealous that they don't have that
Yeah.
experience to do the same thing you guys are doing right now. So anyway, that's what our goal is to, because that's kind of a fun thing to see what you're drying and how they can actually use that as well. So. What else do you have coming up with Ernest as projects at your school right now?
right now, we have trees. We have planted those trees which they gave us last year, and they are doing well. Then we have got a garden which we have just planted. Other seeds have just germinated. and we are also working on the vermicompost. Yeah, the
Ah,
girls,
okay.
some of the girls are doing on those ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to. I'm not exactly sure where the composting is working. Are you doing that right at your school, or are you doing it down
It's just
below in
a
the fields?
trial. Yeah, it's
Oh, you do a
just
little time.
we have just started. It's just a trial. Yeah, where
Okay.
the girls went out and get the worms. Yeah, but it's not
Oh,
fully developed. Yeah,
s- yeah. With the worms, you need a lot of water. The worms like to be the compost that you feed them. They do like to be wet, and I think our first experience down at the boys' school, we didn't have enough water to keep the worms going. That was the issue. But I'd love to see some photographs. Um, I'm thinking that the worms might be composted. I think the worm area over there may be better in a pit where you dig a hole, a large hole. But we'll see
yeah,
what method seems to work the best.
yeah.
So it's quite a bit you have going on.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Okay.
thank you both. Look forward to seeing you when I get out there in May before the end of the school year.
Okay.
So thanks for coming, and take lots of photographs for me as you start drying the fruit and putting in that next garden.
Thank you very much.
Okay, guys.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Thank
Patrick.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
All right, so I'm on Mike, and
Okay.
if I could talk about a couple projects that I'm excited about.
Yes, sir.
So we are doing a pilot test of sowing scientific seeds, and this is where we have students do a control group experiment. And they really do need a little instruction about what a control group experiment is. It's where you have one group and you give it a treatment, and you have a comparison group and you keep that as the control. And then the thing that you change is called the independent variable. And so it's a good exercise not only for agriculture, but oftentimes students here there's no lab equipment or not enough lab equipment, and they don't have a lot of practical work. So we feel that having them do an actual control group experiment where they choose a project that they're interested in is going to help them not only in agriculture but physics, chemistry, biology, but also in life, because you don't want to sometimes just try something without doing kind of a comparison to see, okay, is this fertilizer really better, or is this nutrient really going to make a difference in people's lives? So that's been an exciting project. We've been doing it at the primary school with the girls, and we've been doing it here at the secondary school with the girls. So we have two different age levels, and we'll get into more sophisticated types of data analysis with the high school, where we'll do paired t-tests and some simple statistics that way. So that's one of the projects I'm excited about. The other project is we're developing something we're calling conversations about agriculture and science. And the idea is to go into a classroom. We're imagining we might have volunteers from America come with us on some trip and they want to do something in the classroom. So we're going to have some questions that they can ask to kind of help the girls with their conversational English, because they don't have a lot of role models of native English speakers. And then if we could have volunteers come into classrooms and we give them a little script of things to work on, we can help the girls and the boys with their English, as well as help them learn a little bit more about science and agriculture. And then the last thing I want to mention is it might not seem like a big deal, but 2 years ago there was a typhoon, and about 15 meters of the wall in front of the girls' primary school, the brick wall, just collapsed. They gathered enough money eventually to buy the bricks, but the wall has been unrepaired for those 2 years. So UFE went ahead and bought the sand, paid for some cement, paid for some professional masons, but then also recruited the girls and parents, and we all worked together on removing the old bricks, transporting the bricks to where the masons were there. We have nice video of the parents laying the first layer of the bricks, kind of symbolic of setting a good foundation that the parents helped build. So only $200, but it really is going to increase. There's 2,200 girls at this school. It's going to increase their safety for the teachers who live on the compound. It's going to increase their safety, and for urban farming, a lot of the trees that we planted, the goats would just come in from the community and eat the trees, and so now we can have more robust agriculture projects. And we did today. We just came from doing the borehole garden, where there's a borehole where they have to hand pump the water, and there's a lot of water that flows out of it, and we planted the trees around that borehole to make use of that water.
So that is at the primary school, the borehole, right?
Girl, yes, girls primary.
And the wall that you repaired was at the secondary school where you are now.
No, girls primary as well.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
the
okay.
primary schools. Yeah, the primary schools are very much underfunded
Yes,
compared to the secondary schools, so they have much more need. And while I was doing the borehole project, Ernest was over at the boys' primary school, which is another big need. And they wanted a wall around their school compound, but it's too expensive to do in brick. So we're pilot testing a living wall where we're planting seedlings that are thorny, and we're going to see if that's going to work as a living wall. And I think
right,
Kim wanted to say something about that.
So it was very difficult because the perimeter of that school is so massive, and
right,
there's just no way that we would ever be able to fence in the entire place to keep it secure. So the idea came with doing a living wall, and Ernest introduced us to a thorny bush that as it grows, it just tangles up amongst itself, and the thorns on it are such that if you go into it and you try to get out, it hooks, almost like a teddy bear choya, how it will hook inside of you.
hmm
So they have just started using that and introducing it as an alternative to the brick walls here. So we are piloting, and he planted 10 today. They're a very quick growing, almost weed type shrub. So we're real excited about to see how that works.
Were you able to find any vendors for fencing, barbed wire or stakes or chain link or any of that in town?
We we explored and we talked to the community partners about how it would be to do a barbed wire fence around the. We were initially thinking, oh, let's do barbed wire and a living wall, but people assured us that the stakes would be stolen and they would take the stakes away.
And the
Um,
barbed
and barbed
wire
wire,
would be cut
yeah.
and taken, no matter what the length. And if they were wood stakes, they would be taken for firewood. And if they were metal, and we even talked about putting them in with concrete, and they said they'll dig it up.
But we're
Wow.
not we're not ruling it out. I think we still have to try things. But we're going to start with just a living fence and make sure that those 10 bushes survive, and then hopefully we can do more. But the perimeter of the boys' primary school is crazy big. It's just like, I don't know how to describe it, the
It
Oh,
size
just
of
yeah.
it, but
It's
it,
very large.
well, it was over not even to entirely surround the campus. It was over 10 million kwacha, and that wasn't even to completely. It was like, oh, let's
Right.
let's go with the living fence for now.
So that would be roughly five or six
5,000.
thousand dollars, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, and it's not that initial expense; it's the idea of people taking what you just put in,
Mhm.
because there is so much appropriation of of other
Yeah,
people's things over there because people are in a survival mode, right? So, what other
Exactly.
yeah.
challenges? What other challenges have you had with implementation of these projects besides that?
I would say one of the things is we look at the boys' primary school and we also see that 2 years ago their roofs blew off about 80% of the classrooms. So the kids are sitting there either in the baking sun, or if it rains, which it hasn't, they'll get all soaking wet. But it's like, we just wonder, like, maybe roofs are a bigger priority than a wall. So sometimes we just wonder about, okay, well, if it was us, we would do it this way. But we have to. I don't think it's a challenge. I think it's just a philosophy that we accept what people think is important to them and what's their priority, and we act on their priorities.
Right. That is true. It's and that's why the micro projects are so critical, because those are projects that they see as being important and or something that they believe that can be successful, right? Oh, I think we've frozen up. Can you guys still hear us?
Yeah, hang on a second.
Oh,
You're back.
can you hear us?
I can hear you now. We got a little
Oh, okay.
disconnect going there for a minute.
Oh, okay. So I can just finish up by saying,
Hold on.
the working on the ball.
Hang on 1 second. I can't hear what you're saying.
Sorry, Mike. Can you re-ask that last question you just did? Let's start from there.
Okay. I'm gonna re-ask that question. Okay, so you just mentioned that the possibility of theft. We have that everywhere, because what we really wanted to do is plant more trees and sugarcane along the river. That was the most obvious thing for me, but you know, everyone out there told you, boy, if you do that, people will just steal it. Now you're talking about the fence. What other challenges for project implementation are you guys coming across?
I would say one of the things, you bought the very nice irrigation pump, and it's really effective, but it's very difficult. It's a four-person job to move it onto the truck and off. And so having irrigation that would be like in a house where you could just go in and start up the pump and have it pumped and just leave it there without it being stolen, I think that would be a nice addition. So funding for that kind of thing, so it's a little bit easier to do irrigation type projects. I think right now the rains have been delayed about 7 weeks, and it's not looking good here. People are anticipating famine and need for support in March or April, and irrigation could really play an important role in reducing the impact of nutritional problems.
Yeah, so we're seeing climate change. So if you're a denier of climate change, please don't listen right now. But the rest of the world, we see it. We see it here. Um, and when I was in Ethiopia, they had the same problem. They were getting all their rain way early. So they got it before they were ready for it, and now you're 7 weeks delayed, and who knows if it'll even come, right? So, okay, let's switch past that a little bit. I wanted to ask you, how is the steering committee doing now? Have we been able to get the right people in the right seats on the bus?
Yeah, it was what's real exciting is that we have found people that are passionate, just extremely passionate about agriculture and about the help that we are providing, no matter how big or how small it is. They're just very excited about having us as a partner. And it did take a while, but we do have those passionate people who want to do it just to for the betterment of their community and their society and their children, as opposed to what what do I get out of it. So we are very excited that we have people in place in all of our locations, all the schools, the hospital, and the church. We will be coming together this Thursday just to for us to say farewell for now and for them to come together and talk about the wonderful things that they are going to be doing together. They are just eager and excited to continue this program and just keep it growing. So we're just thrilled. We are thrilled with the people that we have met this time and that have continued with us.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
to add to that, I would say we really do have strong.
Oh, we froze up again. Hang on 1 second, Peter.
So,
There
and
you
that
go.
both of
Yeah.
them are. So I think, and coming together, like UFE is going to fund a chicken egg project for the open school at the boys' secondary school, and we're also going to fund a chicken egg project for the hospital. And we've suggested, and teachers, that both of the leaders are very passionate about coming together and sharing best practices about chicken eggs here in Malawi. And then we hope to create like a model program so that we could duplicate our success and share it with others.
Yeah. So when you're building that team of people and they're the people who really want to be involved are involved, and now what you're talking really about is the capacity building for community. Um, you're working with them so that they have an understanding of what this process could be. When you're talking about conversations in the classroom, it's really that's a I know that's like English as a second language type of thing, but it also you're talking about conversational capacity. And I think the Zoom back and forth with the U.S. also is about conversation and people talking and discussing challenges and solutions is really the only way to do it. And it doesn't always fit in a like I like everything linear, right? I mean, it doesn't always work the way you want it to work. And I think having Ernest now be able our boots on the ground, and that was one of the big things I wanted you guys doing was really find vendors. We're never done with the resource investigation or analysis. What is there that we can take advantage of? You got a quote to redo the steps at the two-tiered soccer fields. We call them soccer fields, football fields over there. That was a little pricey, but it's probably something we will engage with. Maybe when I'm out there, that might be a project worth doing. I'm trying to go through my list of other projects that you guys have. The latrine project. Now, have you been able to get? I know you guys clean the latrines. That's always an exciting, fun thing for people to do. And you've been rebuilding some wall. How long was the wall that you ended up having to rebuild at the girls' school, by the way?
About 15 meters, and those not metrically inclined, that's probably about 45 feet.
Right. But the latrines, one of the things we wanted to do, Kim, was get privacy. Have we been able to get a quote on doors? And does any of the masonry still need to be worked on?
Well, both of those things still need to be done. But what is very exciting is that I have been able to make wonderful connections with two different Rotary clubs here in Malawi, in the Lukuni and Lilongwe area. And in fact, on this Thursday, one of the clubs is coming out as a volunteer opportunity for them and for us to collaborate together to reassess and add some chemical, biodegradable chemical into the toilet so that it will lower and give them more capacity. And then they will be once again educating the faculty and staff there on best practices because that is what that Rotary Club's mission was for this year was sanitation and hygiene. And I was able to connect with them through Facebook and have found a wonderful partner to help us with. They've also discussed with us how I could go about and the pricing for additional latrines and some doors, but that's still an ongoing process because
Yeah,
it was a
that
little more expensive than I thought.
Yeah, well, it's got to be done, So I think one big thing is to take this list, make sure Ernest has it and the community people have it, and let's see what we can do between now. So the big test always is when you guys leave, because Kim, you're kind of a hard taskmaster, and you guys are, and Peter, you as well. You've got your things going on, but the when you leave, sometimes there's a vacancy and there's that lack of leadership, and I think that's the concept of community building that we've been doing, and now reaching out to other people outside of that little area, which includes the Rotary clubs or any other nonprofits, is huge, a huge impact for us. So I think before you leave, kind of, it's so easy when you get back. When you get back here, you're going to be engaging in your regular life, and you need a week or two, and then all of a sudden it turns into 2 or 3 months where you kind of forget. So making notes and meeting with people right now and setting up maybe a schedule where we're in touch on a weekly basis with Ernest and with the projects that they have going on, I think is great. And you're kind of taking a snapshot, photographs, videos. I don't know if you've been able to pull that drone out and shoot kind of a snapshot in time of where you are now. And then hopefully, as we build up more of these projects and even start them and work on them without you there, with Ernest and with the individual people that are on our steering committee, and to be able to get that done. School pretty much ends in early June, if I remember right. So that's
Yeah.
our goal, right?
Mike, Kim's getting called away because she's got to go to the girls' assembly. So I'm going to stay on and let her go and close out with the girls.
Okay,
But I'll
Kim.
stay on. But the star of the show is leaving, so
Mike, just one last thing.
Haha,
Urban farming is making a difference here, and
it's great.
we have met some wonderful partners, wonderful teachers, and we've been able to provide money, fair trade to individuals here that when we were, working on the wall or rebuilding the bushes or working on plowing the field, we were able to hire local people. So the money is being spent and kept here. And
Right.
I thank you for this opportunity. And now
Yeah.
I've got to go meet with the girls.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye. The
yeah,
budget was really much lower than I expected too. To rebuild that section of wall, the 45 feet, was only $200 from our cost. So I think with these micro projects, and I think with having things organized, which Kim was really good at doing. So far, you've only spent a few $1,000s, mostly on materials, and then it's just a matter of coordinating people and having people see what could be done. And so I've been really pleased, and I think anybody who's watching this to understand that the amount of impact for such few dollars is really huge. And it's not just what we're getting done, physically, but it's the concept that we're bringing across of community, that they see that they actually have the power to do all this stuff, really, with very little help from anybody on the outside.
yeah, and I see, us jumping in and, we're there getting dirty, doing the physical work just along with everybody else. And I think it makes it really much more of a community pulled together. And when I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Kenya, they had the expression harambe, which was literally people pulling a rope to pull the boats out of the water. And harambe is the idea of let's all pull together to make something happen.
Right. One project we didn't mention, and I don't think it's going that well, but you plowed the fields for the sunflowers.
Yep. Yeah. So we plowed. We had we had all the boys go out there and take out all the big things, and then we had the tractor come in 3 different times to get it ready. And we have been waiting for the rains. We didn't want to start the process until we were sure that we had all the people in place to irrigate it. But now, since Kim and I are leaving, and the rains haven't come yet, so we're still waiting to put the sunflower seeds into the ground. Ernest has donated all the sunflower seeds for the project.
Okay, and that was a couple of, what was that, like 1 or 2 hectares or 3 hectares? I can't remember the size of that.
It's about 1.5 or 1.6 hectares, so about 3.5 acres.
And you guys cut a road in that allows you to take the truck, our little truck, and our water pump all the way down from where all the schools are, kind of on the top part of the property, and you brought it to the river and have access to the river.
Yeah, yeah. So it's hard though because it's on a metal stand and it's very heavy. So to carry it um, is difficult. So we were able to do it. I shared the video. We were all excited when we saw the big giant gun shooting the water in the air. Um, but we got an estimate to put it on wheels, so it's a little bit easier to do.
Oh, okay.
But we were like debating, okay, do we? But he needed the pump before he could put the wheels on it because they kind of welded into the whole thing. So we had to decide. We held off on actually getting the work done because we thought we might use it, but we didn't want to start too early with the sprinklers because if the rains then don't come, then you really have to drag it out every 3 days, and until we have the proper people in place to help Ernest with that task, it's a big task.
Right. Now, did you ever take any drone shot or footage showing where all the roads were cut in and the area that you graded?
Yeah, so we do have that. We still have to get it from Sydney, who's the one who's doing the drone footage.
Right. And I guess you're getting you're getting pulled away yourself there. It looks like. But how are the student committees coming along? Have they been pretty useful for you since you've been there? Are they?
Yeah, the boys' school, Promise. He's the boy who's in charge of the club. He has been amazing because they really have not had any teacher patron at the boys' school, and it's just amazing to see what they've done. They moved from hybrid chickens, which are the kind of commercial grade chickens, to local chickens, all on their own. And then the local ones solve a lot of problems, like you don't have to worry about incubators or keeping the chicks warm because they're much hardier. So that's been a big success, and they have a healthy chicken population. And then they've been doing things. They've been keeping the vermiculture going, and just having a lot of other successful type of projects going underway. We did repair. I know you never liked the term bushes, but these are our brick-walled, irrigated, standing height shambas. But we replaced that wall, and we have 3 of these raised beds that have 3 different purposes. One is for them, the boys, to do a control group experiment. So they're still in the process of designing that. The second is to grow what they call exotic plants, things like eggplants and carrots that kids read about in books, but they don't often see. So when the agriculture teachers are talking about them, they can see these growing in the beds. And then the third one is our pili pili planter. And pili pili is the African word for those little red hot peppers. And the idea is to have a vibrant pili pili area so that the boys, when they walk to the cafeteria, can pluck a little chili and bring it back to their foods. We are finding that Malawians do like everything spicy, so that's one of the things that we're aware of.
Now, were you able to grade off? And we're talking grading, we're not talking about major earth moving. We're just talking about leveling and taking some of the bush off the top so that it's you can irrigate or not irrigate, but that you can plant better and grow better. Were you able to do any other grading, like where the teachers are growing, or we talked about a field that we wanted to plant some more trees, more of an orchard style thing. Were you able to get to that at that point?
We haven't felt the need to grade to do that, but we do have a couple orchards, and we're having the boys. That's another project they do, is they're making sure the trees that we planted last time stay watered, and those are working well. And we do want to plant some more trees around the football pitch, but I think that probably makes sense to do in conjunction with the stairs and seating area. Um, and I think we mentioned that we're working with the football club here that also does a lot of charity work, and we're trying to make them a community partner in how we're going to redesign that football field, because it clearly needs some help. But the organization that we're with also has international support, so it might be possible to make the football pitch better, but also to build more community support and also make it a more secure environment. If everybody feels like they're benefiting from all the different community resources, I think we can preserve our resources more and have less theft and things like that.
Right. Yeah, that's again part of the challenge out there is doing things that actually are sustainable, right? And then if you're putting in fencing or even a pump station that could be stolen, then it's not beneficial, and it actually is a little depressing, for people to have
It
things
is.
taken away,
It is.
So,
Yeah, and if we did a pump station, we'd definitely have to have like a person whose job it was just to sleep there and watch it at night and make sure it stays safe
right. Well, the
as
next
we
one
build
would
up the
be
community.
yeah, the next one would be probably if they can effectively use this hand pump, which I know is a little more of a difficult process, but it's you know what there is a lot of labor there that's available, and it's a process that is kind of the starting point. Can they grow using this thing and not have it stolen? In an ideal world, and I know what they want us to do is to dig boreholes and then put in solar pumps. It's just that's pretty expensive, and I think that we want to kind of prove out that people will do the growing and they will take care of what they have before we just add more things. What ended up happening with the girls' borehole, by the way? I think you'd said originally it was a little contaminated and too salty. Did they just determine
Yeah,
that they were going to redo that?
yeah. So talking to the Rotary Club, um, it's really not the situation that the water is too salty. The issue is that the latrines are so close to the borehole or to they share a common water reservoir underground. Can't remember the word I'm looking for, but the water, long story short, the sewage from the latrines has contaminated the borehole water.
Well,
So the girls really shouldn't drink it, but it's their only choice sometimes for water. So the girls do drink it. They all say, "Oh, we can't drink it because it's salty," but really they shouldn't drink it because it's contaminated. But they will like wash. I don't think it's heavily contaminated. Uh,
Yeah, let's just give it a second.
Peter, we've jammed up again. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I think we've completely lost him.
Well, I want to thank. Do you have me running?
Yeah, 1 second. Okay, go ahead.
So I want to close up and thank both Peter and Kim Rolero. They're at the end of their 6-week journey out there. As you can see, it's very hot, and even though the rains haven't really hit, there's lots of mosquitoes, and they've worked on a lot of different things tirelessly, getting very little sleep, and working with the community, but I think it's been pretty rewarding for them. Ernest, who is our project manager now, our regional project manager for both Malawi and Zambia, will be starting in Zambia shortly on a project at a school that the Maris brothers already have established some good agricultural practices. And both the teachers from the Lacunes Secondary Girls School, Frida and Patrick. I appreciate you all being here. And Kim and Peter, we will see you back in Phoenix within the week. And thank you all for joining in today. Appreciate your time as well. Thank you. Thank you for joining the Harvesting Wisdom podcast. Like, share, and subscribe for ongoing insightful conversations. Explore our webpage for additional resources and visit our guest webpage for deeper insights. Your engagement is the foundation of our journey. Until next time, keep pursuing wisdom.